Alright, so hello guys. So for today's video, I thought I would do the style challenge. I was reminded of the style challenge when the artist Zoe Marinaire did the style challenge on her YouTube, and that reminded me that I've wanted to do the style challenge on YouTube for a long time. Actually, way earlier on, I started filming the style challenge like almost a year ago, and I was going to upload it to YouTube as a one-off video before I officially started posting on here a lot, but I didn't end up doing that because it was really bad, because my art skills probably weren't good enough for YouTube, like at all, even though they're still not good enough for YouTube standards of art skill, because people are slightly more harsh on YouTube than they are on Instagram. But enough about that. Anyways, so a little bit of a rant of an intro. This is the style challenge, and I'm going to talk a bit about each style as we go through them. So the first thing I should mention probably is that I decided to do the style challenge with my new OC, Dean slash Damon. And so that is the character I am drawing. If you do not recognize him, it is just because he is a new OC of mine. So that is why. And there will be an OC introductory video out on him sometime, hopefully by the end of summer at the very latest, or beginning of school year, starting again. I'm going to say that around that time because possibly not. I really don't know. That's good estimate time. Anyway, so for the first style, it is obviously my own style, which ironically, sorry for my voice crack, ironically enough, I think I terribly and horribly messed up my own style. I do not know how I messed up my own style, but I think my own style just looked terrible in this drawing, because I think I tried to make it look too good. Like, I was like, oh, I gotta make my own style look the best because it's my style, you know, bro? But then I tried too hard and it just ended up looking bad because I tried too hard. Because sometimes with me, if I get like a mindset like I'm going to make this look the best and try my hardest and put my full foot forward, I just end up trying too hard to make it look good and then it looks bad. So that's kind of ish what happened. And if you see, I tried to color in the eyes like a million times, because part of my style that I started doing like a few weeks ago or a month ago was to color in the irises. But for my style, I really could not get those irises colored in correctly. Like, no matter how many times I put color to the irises, it looked kind of creepy because I made the black pupils of the eyes, or the iris part, whatever you want to call it, way too big, so it just looked creepy when I did it. And yeah, that is basically my style. I just add some shading to it. My style was one of very few styles that had shading in it, because a lot of the styles I did were very simplistic cartoon styles without shading in them, or shading was only added into the style when it was needed for lighting effect in like really dark or dramatic scenes. Otherwise, there weren't really that many, like on an average daily basis, there wasn't really shading in that style. So the next style I decided to do was actually my favorite YouTube artist, Zoe Marinaire's style. I will link to her and any other YouTube or Instagram artists' styles I did in the description below. Zoe Marinaire's style was one of the styles I felt like I really struggled with the most, because with Zoe Marinaire's style, I felt like it was just a really hard style to do and to get correctly without butchering it. So when I was doing her style, I'm just like, oh god, I have to draw Zoe Marinaire's style, and then I just like intensely stared down her art, realizing and taking in fully and full forward that I had to draw that, and I could not draw that. And I was like telling Zoe Marinaire on one of her live streams that I was just butchering her style, and she's just like, what are you talking about? My style's easy to draw. And then she just paused for a second and went, wait, of course it's easy to draw. I draw in it every day. Or something along those lines. And I'm just like, wow, Zoe, 10 out of 10 A plus for you. But her style was really hard, and I still do not think I did her style justice, no matter how hard I tried to get her style right. I think the main thing about her style I messed up were the eyes, and I could not get the eyes right. You'll see me readjust those eyes like a million times in this video, because I just could not get them right. The whole face I just had to keep adjusting, because every time I adjust the eyes, it made the whole face look weird, and then I had to readjust the face to accommodate the adjustments for the eyes, and it's like, ugh. I could not get those eyes right, and I still don't think I did it. I really still don't think I did it. But I tried to go for a more boyish style with the eyes and everything, even though I used some girl references. I mostly went with the style for how she draws boys. Even though I was going to mix the two styles, I decided ultimately to just go with the style for how she draws boys. And overall, I like how it came out. I just don't think it came out looking much like Zoe Mariner's style. Like, overall, just as a way of drawing it, or overall as drawing quality, I guess you could say, I liked how it came out. But as Zoe Mariner's style itself, it didn't really come out, to me, in my opinion, looking too much like Zoe Mariner's style. And I showed it to one of my friends who likes Zoe Mariner quite a lot, and they agreed with me that it didn't look the most like Zoe Mariner's style. But for some reason, Zoe, if you are watching this video, I apologize deeply for butchering your style, and I apologize deeply for probably butchering this video on whatever standards there is for video making. I'm sorry you had to see this, Zoe. I apologize. And yeah, that's basically Zoe Mariner's style. One thing I will mention is I based the horn, because my OC has like a little demon horn, and I based that off of her OC Jalal and how she drew the horn for her OC Jalal, little demon horns that her OC Jalal has. Also, my OC has a bunch of little fake tattoos on him that he wears to look cooler, and I added those in all the styles, so along with the horn. So yeah, and some of the styles actually had characters who had horns, like little demon characters that had horns, and I based the horn off of that, if any of the styles did. But if the styles didn't really have characters that had horns in them at all, I just drew the horns in my style. So yeah, that's why sometimes the horn will look slightly different, because I was actually basing it off of how people in that style drew horns. But obviously, if there was no reference of how people in that style, or how that style would look with horns, then obviously, I couldn't draw the horns stylized, and I just drew them how I thought they would look, if that makes any sense. And yeah, that is Zoe Mariner's style done. Once again, sorry I butchered it. But it came out okay, but it was probably one of the hardest styles to do. And pretty much everyone who has done Zoe Mariner's style for the style challenge has said that her style was one of the hardest to do. Also, I just realized that there were a few more styles I wanted to include in this video that I never got around to / got the chance to include in this video. So I might do a second style challenge way later on to include more styles. And I just wanted to mention that before I forgot about that. But yeah, so that might happen in the future, so you can comment down below if you want to see that. Sorry, that was a random tidbit of information that doesn't really relate to what's going on. Anyways, the next style I decided to do, or the third style, or second style if we're not counting my style, is the gorilla style. I think I did the gorilla style much justice, and I'm actually pretty proud with how it came out. I think it came out looking really gorilla style, and I think some of the trademark things for the gorilla style is the way they draw the noses and the mouth and the weird skin colors that they tend to use for their characters. Those are the trademark things. Also, the eye shape for a few of the characters, or the different color eyes for a few of the characters. Those are the main trademarks. And I actually based how I drew my OC Demon / Dane in the gorilla style off of the gorilla's characters 2D and Russell. I based his eyes and how I drew his eyes off of how Russell's eyes look, but I based the rest of him off of 2D, so it's a mix between the two of them. So yeah, he looks heavily inspired by 2D. He was mostly based off 2D with a little bit of Russell with the eyes and stuff, and that's what I mostly based off him. Also, I gave him like a really ghostly pale skin tone for this one, even though normally my OC wouldn't have that skin tone, because most of the gorilla's characters have really like off color skin tones or things. But I still did give him the two different color eyes that my OC Damon / Dean normally has in the style. And overall, I really liked how the gorilla style came out, unlike Zoe Mariner's style, which I butchered. I really liked how that one came out, and I liked how the highlights came out, and just how everything came out, the highlights and the skin and everything. And yeah, and for some of these style challenges, I used reference on how other people drew in that style, because I looked up style challenges and wanted to see if people drew like that style and how they did it for a style challenge. Like for the gorilla style challenge, I want to see how other people drew their OCs in the gorilla style. So to do that, I based it a little bit off that too. But so I did that for some of them. So I did do some research on other styles for the on other people's style challenges for the style challenge. If that makes sense. Anyways, the next OC that I did for the the next, not OC, the next style that I did for the style challenge was my good friend on YouTube. Well, on YouTube, she's known as Noodle Ramen, and on Instagram, she's also known as Noodle Ramen, but with some underscores in her name. I'll put her YouTube and Instagram in the description below. And she is one of my very good friends. And for the style challenge for her, I tried to draw in her style, and I think drawing in her style came out really well. And it was really, really easy for me because her style was a mix of how I used to draw about a year ago and how I draw now. Like, definitely my friend's style is a mix between how I used to draw, how I draw now, mixed with a little bit of like a comic-y Joy Sans type style, in my opinion. If you've ever seen Joy Sans animation videos, Joy Sans animation videos, Joy Sans? I don't know, like the odd ones out and like all those ones. That's what I mean. Her animation username might not be Joy San. If it isn't, then I'll like put a little edit on what style I meant. Anyways, I should probably mention before I talk about the next style is that the trademarks for my friend Noodle Raymond's style is the really big, huge black pupils and the curly bits in the hair. And you'll notice with my OC Dean / Damon, he has like a little curly thing in his hair on Noodle Raymond's style coming out of the top of his hair. I just think that that's a really adorable thing that my friend adds into her style. Like the way she draws hair in her styles is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. And like sometimes I low key base my hair designs off of how she draws hairs in her style, like the hair on the head in her style. And I actually low key base Gender Bent Nick, which is one of my OC's hairstyle off of how she draws her hairstyles. So friend, if you're watching this, I low-key love how you draw your hair. It's the most adorable thing ever. And yeah. Anyways, the next style that I did is the Steven Universe style. I mostly based Dane / Demon off of, what is it? The mailman, I can't remember his name, but off of the mailman character from Steven Universe. I really can't remember his name. I cannot remember his name at the moment, which is bad because I'm a pretty big Steven Universe fan, so I should know his name. But for the Steven Universe style, I based it off the mailman dude, whose name I can't remember. Probably gonna edit his name in here as well. But I based it off of that, so he mostly looks like that because I thought the mailman dude was like a teenager type, so it would work and everything. And yeah, I based it off him. So it looks highly based off him if you look at a photo of that character and then look at how I drew it in that style. It mostly based off him, with a little bit of Greg mixed in there too, because I gave him quite a Greg nose. Like if you look at Greg's nose, that is the exact nose that I put on my character Damon for the style challenge. The next style that I did after Steven Universe is Star vs. the Force of Evil, which is a show that I completely just love. Like, I've been getting so much into Star vs. the Force of Evil over the past few months, especially with the dramatic, like, thing where they recently they just showed, like, a few months ago, they showed, like, a bunch of episodes. Like, they showed, like, an episode a week, and they showed a bunch of episodes, and then they ended off showing all those, like, dramatic episodes with a half-hour. It was either a half-hour or an hour-long movie, and that just got me super hyped with Star vs. the Force of Evil again. So I am super hyped with it, and yeah, super hyped. And they are actually going to, in 4 days, for Star vs. the Force of Evil, do another hour-long movie event, which I'm a little salty about because they literally just did an hour-long movie event or half-hour-long movie event. So I don't know what gives them the justified reason to do 2 half-hour-long movie events or special events in a row. But either way, I'm kind of glad they're doing it. I just wish they didn't do 2 in a row, because, like, what? What is the logic in that? But I'm kind of glad they're doing it, and I'm really hyped for that. And it's coming out, like, 3 days after I go to a Gorillaz concert. So first I get to go to a Gorillaz concert, then I get to watch all my feels die watching Star vs. the Force of Evil. And I really need to do some Star vs. the Force of Evil fan art on this account, so comment down below if you want that. And yeah, drawing in the Star vs. the Force of Evil style was pretty easy for me. It was a bit similar, in my opinion, to the Steven Universe style. I feel like the Steven Universe style, the Star vs. the Force of Evil style, Star vs. the Force of Evil style, and the Gravity Falls style were all a bit similar to me to draw in. And yeah, definitely my favorite thing about the Star vs. the Force of Evil style was the eyes. I really liked how those came out. Even though later on I did recolor the recolor the color of the pupil in the Star vs. the Force of Evil eyes to make them blue and green, because I low-key forgot that my OC had blue and green eyes, because I've only drawn him like 3 times, because he's a fairly new OC, so I forgot about that. Anyways, moving on to the Gravity Falls style. For the Gravity Falls style, I mostly based Demon or Dane off of Dipper Pines, and I will say that I have had past experiences with drawing the Gravity Falls style, because when I first started doing art, I was highly inspired by Gravity Falls and anime, and I mostly drew in a Gravity Falls anime-ish drawing style, so sometimes I draw in a Gravity Falls drawing style, and then sometimes I draw in an anime style, and sometimes I fuse the two styles together. So in the past, I have drawn in the Gravity Falls style before, and the main thing that I have always, and I mean always, struggled with the Gravity Falls style is doing the eyes. That is just really hard for me to draw. I cannot draw those eyes properly, and I still butchered the eyes. Even now, to this day, I butchered them. But I think overall the Gravity Falls style came out okay, but it is ultimately not one of my favorite, because I think something looks off about it, yet at the same time, nothing really looks off about it. Like, I did everything to how the style looks, but it just feels off to me. Maybe I'm just not a huge fan of the head shape of the style. I was never always a huge fan of the head shape for the Gravity Falls style all too much, and from what I've seen on some videos, there are a few people who are never all too much a fan of the head shape that the Gravity Falls style has. Anyways, for the next style in the style challenge I decided to do was the Powerpuff Girl style, which I completely butchered the Powerpuff Girl style. Along with Zoe Mariner's style, I will not lie to say that I 100% full-heartedly, full-out, full-blown butchered the Powerpuff Girl style. I think it's the eyes. The eyes are what look off to me the most about the Powerpuff Girl style, and they just look like weird, like, chameleon lizard eyes that are, like, bulging out of the head. I don't even know. Like, you know how lizards or chameleons can just make their eyes go completely to the side of their head in, like, that weird, uncanny way? That's what it looks like is going on with the Powerpuff Girl style. I messed up those eyes and the face, and everything about it just looks off. Ugh. That was, I don't even know how I butchered that style, because literally that style should be really easy, because from what I've heard, they basically just use the perfect circle, or they use the circle tool to make the head shape. So, like, I don't know how I can butcher that, but I butchered it. Good job to me. I butchered the easiest style literally on this style challenge. That is even more simplistic than my own style. Good job, me. Then again, I also butchered my own style in this style challenge, so you really can't expect too high things from me now, can you? The next style that I wanted to include for the style challenge was the Loud House's style. I loved the Loud House so much. It is probably one of my favorite cartoons on Nickelodeon thus far, and I've actually done some fan art for the Loud House before, so I'll link to that somewhere in a card. And if you have not seen the Loud House, once again, I recommend you check out the Loud House. Full-heartedly, I recommend it. And if you want a good episode as an introductory to the Loud House, or a good episode that I think a lot of people watching this video might like, I all recommend you watch the episode Ellis for Love, and then you go check out my speed paint of Ellis for Love from the Loud House, because that was my favorite episode thus far of the Loud House. And I think even if you don't like the Loud House as a whole, I think some people will still like that episode as a one-off episode of the Loud House. And yeah, with the Loud House, I would say that the main thing I struggled with the Loud House's style, though, was the ear shape. I could not get that ear to look like it did in the Loud House style, based off the reference I was using. And yeah, I just really couldn't. And I especially struggled with, like, the little like little squiggle thing inside the ear. I could not get that shape right. I don't know what you call that, but it's like a little squiggle in the ear in the Loud House style. And I think something about the hair in the Loud House style looks a little off. Anyways, the last style I decided to do is Hey Arnold style. Now, Hey Arnold was a bit hard for me to do with the style challenge because pretty much every single character in Hey Arnold is drawn in a little bit of a different style with different head shapes and just a little bit differently in style. So ultimately, I had to pick one character that I wanted to base the style challenge thing for Hey Arnold off of, and that character was, of course, the iconic main character the show is based off of, Arnold himself. And if you have not seen Hey Arnold, I recommend you see it because it is a great show, and you should check out the episodes from it that I would recommend the most would be Parents' Day and The Journal. I think you will all like those episodes, even if you don't like the overall show. Also, you should check out Hey Arnold before the new Hey Arnold movie, The Jungle Movie, comes out. Because I think that movie was scheduled to air sometime on TV, fully finished, around September or something. Sometime around then or later, I don't know. But some date around that time. Early 2018, very late 2017. Anyways, though, yeah, that is the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And comment what style from the style challenge you think I did the best. Obviously, aside from my own style. Okay, bye!